Hello guys and welcome to another Mad Chili video. Today we're here in iRacing.
Is 56 kilometers per hour.
Today we're here in iRacing to test out, remember a video I think from either a day ago or 2 days ago where we took a Mazda around Limelock Park.
Clear on the pit exit.
This is that same series. Ouch!
Right side, right's clear, right side, right's clear, good job.
Hello? Yeah, this is that same series, but we're in a Pontiac. So...
You've had a black flag. We'll need to come into the pits.
But, the difference is... Yeah, that was not on. The difference is... We're in a Pontiac, and the reason is, well, generally no one is in the Pontiac. There is only 4 people in Pontiac class this race. I've done 3 races so far today, and I've only had people with me. I've only had people with me for 2 of them.
It is clear.
Of the 4, I think I've done 4 actually, not 3. I've had 2 of them with me for 4, and I've won all 4 of them. Now this is 4 Pontiacs in this race, including me. Now I'm trying to build safety ratings. Hopefully this video will be called "How to Gain Safety Rating on iRacing." We'll see how safe I end up being. Now I've had again a couple of really good races, a couple of really bad ones. Now unfortunately that little bump there just now will have affected my safety rating slightly, as points in practice apparently do count, however only for 50%, so a 4x in practice is not as bad. So little things to gain safety rating. Well, in practice we want to try and run as many corners as we can, because safety rating is corners per incident, so we want to try and be as safe as we can through all 3 sessions and try and gain as much as we can. Obviously the race is the most important one of the 3, practice is kind of the least important. The race is the one you really want to get 0 incident points on, that's the really important one. So yeah, I was not happy with being bumped there, because that does maybe affect our safety rating, so that's not so good. So for qualifying, we'll take minimum fuel in, obviously, and out we go. So this is my first tip for gaining safety rating as well.
The pit lane speed limit is 56 kilometers per hour. The pit exit is clear. Push now.
So the first tip...
We've got 2 laps to set a decent time.
First tip is, now apparently... you gain safety rating in all sessions. So apparently in qualifying, even after the checkered flag, if you keep setting laps after you've done your 2, apparently that counts towards your corners per incident. So therefore, if we continue on after I set my 2 laps here in qualifying, I try and just have really slow laps, just do a couple of laps at the end of qualifying, so obviously you get 8 minutes and it only really takes 4, so that's a good 4 or 5 laps we can get in without any problems. So that means, effectively, that we can try and improve that corners per incident. Now, I don't totally know whether this is true. I heard it from somebody on a street stock server when they were talking about safety rating, and I do know the safety rating is corners per incident, so as long as it counts the corners, technically that should be correct. Obviously there's no way of knowing for certain, but I think it helps. Now the aim obviously as well is throughout, no matter what we do in qualifying, no matter what we do in practice, just try and have a clean race. That's the number 1 thing. If we can have a 0 incident point race, it basically doesn't matter what we do in the other sessions. We're going to gain safety rating. Now how much? Roughly in the area of 0.1 for me. I'm trying to get to a 4 rating to get me a fast track to B class. However, it has proven to be very difficult. So far today I have really just gone up, down, and haven't really gained anything. So we'll try our best. This first lap has not actually been the best, so that's not great. But again, there's not a lot of our rating to lose because there's only 4 cars. So we're just going to try our best, basically. We want to try and set some good laps if we can. My best round here is a 1 minute and 1.7 in this car. It's probably going to be more like the 1 minute and 2.4, 0.3 is what we're looking for. That's a 0.8 look. So that's slow.
Position.
This thing now, again, also, the key thing for safety rating, though, is even though we're in a slower class, yeah? This car is very difficult to spin out in comparison to other cars. Bonus. But one thing we have got to watch is when people lap us. Obviously, we've got to try and get out of the way as safely as we can without losing too much time. That's key. You know, it's all fair taking advantage of being in an empty class and going, oh, I'm not going to have battles. Obviously, the downside is you do have... Obviously, these things are very slow. Like, the Pontiacs are about 4 or 5 seconds, about 4 seconds a lap slower than the Mazdas, which are the next slowest class. Compared to the Mustangs, I think they're about 8 seconds a lap slower. So, it's kind of, yeah, these things are very slow. Like, in a straight line, as you've seen from the Mazdas, typically I've done about 114 just before the line, and I'm at 107. So this thing's slow in a straight line. That's a 1 minute 2.
You're now
0.3
quicker than second.
And that's good. That's really good. And obviously we had 0 incidents, but now is the thing that I want to test out. Apparently, this works. I haven't, obviously there's not a total way of testing it, but what we want to do now, we have 4 minutes, and instead of just sitting back and sitting in the lobby for 4 minutes, we're going to just keep going round. Obviously, it's good for practice as well, but if it keeps counting on our safety rating, which I have heard it does, that will gain the safety rating, because obviously I've got no other cars to worry about. I'd be pretty stupid if I went off track, because, again, there's no other cars, there's no pressure for me to do well. I've set all my qualifying laps, so we just go around. It doesn't really matter what pace we do. It's also quite good if you want to learn the track as well, this. You know, it's not just for safety rating. If you guys want to just get out there, learn the car you're driving a little bit more, use that time in qualifying that you get, just to go around. Obviously, it won't count these laps. But just keep going around, keep setting some more right laps, and just basically try and get as many corners in as you can. And obviously, make sure, obviously, the downside is, you know, the risk is with doing more laps is that you may rack up more incidents. However, as I said, in qualifying, you really shouldn't. Right, if you're trying to gain safety rating and you're racking up incident points while driving around in an empty field, you don't have any chance in a race, so, you know. So, it's got 3 minutes now, and we can just try and get as much driving time in as possible. Obviously, each corner is a teeny bit of safety rating gained. Well, every single corner that we don't get an incident on, obviously that sets us back. So hopefully, as long as the 4 incidents in practice don't set us back too much, hopefully we can get a decent gain. You know, obviously it'd be nice to win the race, definitely. We are P1 in class by quite a long way, by a good half a second, so obviously that is quite promising. And there's only 4 people in class, so hopefully I will be able to win it. Obviously, and that's what's also quite nice. Obviously, less competition. Often the competition maybe isn't as good, which means that you can end up with some decent iRacing gains as well. So it's good. I mean, to be fair, the Pontiac actually, I think the Pontiac deserves its own series. It's not very nice to race against everyone else because it's so slow, but on its own, it's a really nice car. I reckon you can have some really nice battles in this car because, unlike the Mazda, where whenever you go side by side, maybe you clip a curb, maybe you slightly hit someone, it just spins around instantly. It's very slidey, the Mazda. It's like a kart. You get speed from it by sliding it around. But this car is very, it's very understeery, in fact, and it's so slow that if you do make a bit of a mistake, it's kind of, well, and it is literally, I've only spun it, I think, twice, and that was, the one thing it doesn't like is going from grass onto tarmac. Every time you do that, it instantly spins, even without any power applied. It really hates that. But you can see, look, it is actually counting my laps. So I'm hoping that means, obviously, that it is counting towards my safety rating. Obviously, I don't know for certain. But, you know, it's better to try and set as many laps as we can. Obviously, I'm trying to get up to a 4.0 safety rating, which is quite difficult. It does require quite a bit of, well, patience, to be honest. I wasn't going to do another one of these races today. However, I was recording Microsoft Flight Simulator, and because of the new update, I thought, oh, let's test out a business jet, see what it's like. We'll do a little flight in it, I'll record it. And above 40,000 feet, the plane suddenly started rocking violently as soon as the autopilot got turned on. And that was that. And after about 5 minutes of enduring that, I felt sick. So I decided that it was best to leave that and decide that game still isn't ready after 5 updates, and to do this instead because it's, you know, I wanted to get a video recorded today. I also had a bit of spare time, and I thought, yeah, okay, bit of iRacing. So, yeah, so hopefully this race goes okay. There has been a pattern with me on iRacing where whenever I have a good race, a bad one is going to follow straight after. We've actually just run out of time.
Pole position, well done,
so you can see there, look, we've just been going round, and we've done really well to set some decent laps. Now, there's 28 cars, 24 of them are not in our class. We have got the full load of classes in here. I think this thing could get away with 3.1 gallons of fuel. I'm just going to put in 4.3, because, just to be safe, I don't think the fuel really affects the weight of this thing that much, to be honest. Now, in terms of a start, this thing doesn't really get wheel spin, so you can pretty much max it out on the RPM gauge. And yeah, hopefully, we'll see what we can do. Obviously, again, another bonus of being in the slowest class, all the carnage that happens on lap 1, we get very much left out of it, because you should see off the start, providing everybody, well, doesn't crash on the start, we should start to see a massive gap form between the Pontiacs and the Mazdas ahead. Because these things are that slow in a straight line that they are just left for dead. So hopefully, you know, that's a bonus. Obviously, the biggest part about multi-class racing, as I've explained in my Mazda video, is when the VWs go back, the Mazdas go forward, and in the middle you end up with carnage. Obviously, either be in the Mustang and be quick at the front, or be in the Pontiac and be slow at the back. Obviously, the Mustang is a paid vehicle, so I don't have that. So it's the Pontiac. Also, I imagine the Mustang might be a bit difficult to handle. Maybe, I don't know. Obviously, I've never driven it, so I wouldn't know. But that is kind of the options, and that's what's really nice. This car is just really slow, so it's kind of, you just get to sort of chill out, almost. You know, these races are very chill. I mean, around maybe lap 8, lap 9, we will start to get lapped, and then it does become a little bit more difficult, because some people, that's how I have lost some safety rating previously, some people just not respecting that you're a lap car and just ramming you. Obviously, really, they should just wait for the straight, but I'm generally quite nice. I just let them buy straight away. So we'll see what happens.
Celsius. That's
right.
Cold. Okay, Morgan, be ready. Floor it, green, green, green.
And you can see this thing does not get any wheel spin off the start. All the Mazdas start nicely, look, and there we go. The Mazdas are gone. And this is what I mean. I mean, literally, while we have, you know, started, they're having all their chaos at the front, we've got turn 1 to ourselves. You know, all this carnage ahead. Look, there's a VW gone off. That might have been some safety rating for me if I was in Mazda class right now. Look at all this carnage, and I'm just avoiding it. And that's what's really nice. Way! That VW doing a bit of an unsafe rejoin, to be honest.
Keep it coming.
Hopefully that VW will start to get away now. There we go. And this is what I mean again. If there are incidents, the people ahead of you get away quite quickly from them, because this thing is so slow in a straight line. So it is really nice. We have actually got a guy right behind us, another Pontiac. Now, obviously, again, this is where maybe being in the slowest car might be a pain for us later on. Is obviously that, you know, when it comes to lapping, you know, when cars lap us, I tend to be very cautious because I just don't want to get hit.
You have 0 incidents.
But there we go. So we've got through the first lap, nice and safe, nice and happy. We've got half a second gap to the Pontiac ahead of us.
Yellow flag.
And there's a massive crash ahead of us. So again, there's a Mazda, look. So, oh, actually, the Pontiac behind us has gone off and spanned. That's what I mean, look, when you go from grass onto tarmac in these things. They are horrendous. Now, I can't see the Pontiac behind me because there's a weird bug on iRacing where when you're basically last, it doesn't display cars around you until they're really close. I mean, like 3 seconds. I don't know why that is. You don't have the issue in front of you, you don't have the issue if you're in the middle of the pack. It'll happily display cars that are 10 seconds away from you, 15 seconds away from you. I don't know why it happens. But there we go. We have got away quite nicely. So what I'm going to do now, put it onto lap timing. And when we go, way! Right, be careful not to hit that. Ah! That's happened to me 3 times now today, where a car is just flying through the air and suddenly I clip it and that somehow counts on my safety rating. I don't know how you're supposed to predict where a stupid flying car is going to go.
Just done a 105.
On your right side.
And that's really ruined my race a little bit. Now I can still gain safety rating with 4 incidents, just as long as it stays at 4. Any more than that, and we will start having issues. But with 4 incidents, obviously with those extra laps in qualifying and things, we should still be alright. But it does annoy me. It's those sorts of things that do really. And obviously we got that stuff in practice as well, and it does really annoy me. It disappoints me, really. I don't know what that Mustang's doing. Maybe it has damage. I don't know whether it's limping back to the pits or whether. I think it's limping back to the pits because it hasn't picked back up the pace. Now, I will gain a substantial amount of I-rating from this race, so that's kind of a bonus, so even if we do lose a bit of safety rating. However, that is kind of what I'm trying for, so that 4x of a car flying about the place, it's what I really hate, though. That's the one thing I wish I-rating would sort out, is that kind of, like, weirdly, I've never experienced it before, and today, that's the 3rd time I've had it, where a car is flying through the air uncontrollably. You have no idea where it is. You ghost through it, so you don't hit it, you ghost directly through it, and then somehow it counts on your safety rating. I don't know how or why it counts on your safety rating. It shouldn't. Again, you can't. I mean, it's not exactly realistic physics, is it? Because cars do not go flying about the place like that very often. So obviously, you can't really predict the physics of them. But we have got a nice 8-second lead here in Pontiac class, and obviously with 3 cars behind us, that's a decent amount of I-rating for us to gain. So even if this, even if the rest of this race does go a bit badly, again, 4 incident points, it's fine. As long as it stays at 4, we should still gain a little bit of safety rating. Maybe because the thing in practice we won't gain a lot, but a little bit is better than nothing. I'll take a little bit. Even if we only lose 0.01, I'll take it. But we can't get any more. That like 4x basically puts you on a bit of a kind of lifeline. No, a bit of like a one more strike and you're out kind of a thing. It's like, right, you've had 1 incident, you have another one, out. You know, that's dead. Safety rating dead. So obviously, we'll try our best here to do well. We've got a 7.5 second gap, hoping that will stay about the same. Obviously, lap traffic may interfere with it a little bit. But overall, we're quite nice. We're on lap 5 now. Obviously, we will start getting lapped by
20 minutes remaining.
Cars
20 minutes left.
Towards lap number, well, probably more like lap number 10 maybe. We will start to get lapped by cars, and that is when, you know, maybe the potential for safety rating going up is a problem, which is why having 4 incident points at this stage already is maybe a little bit annoying. But we'll try our best to get through it safely. Obviously, I'm a bit disappointed about the incident there at the start, but now we've got a nice clean run ahead of us. The nearest car now is 9.5 seconds back, the nearest non-Pontiac, and it's not lapping us, it's, and they go 1 minute 2.4, that's good.
Off the pace.
So 1 minute 2.4, that's really good. That means we are probably going to gain on the car behind us, just a touch, not a lot, but again, as long as it's even staying the same in the gap, 7.5 seconds is a very decent amount. If we get held up by lap traffic, generally we might lose 2 or 3 seconds. So actually it's gone up to 8.5 now, because obviously remember, I may get held up by lap traffic, but he's going to have to do the same thing. Second place will have to do the same thing as me, let them by. So obviously, something that affects me also affects him. So it's kind of, it does even itself out. I am disappointed, as I said many times, and I'm going to stop saying it now, about the 4 incident points at the start, but you know, what can you do about that? That's the thing. And if it stays like that, that's good. It's when it starts getting into 8, 12, they're the numbers. Anything above 6, that's when it starts becoming like, oh dear, I'm going to lose a ton. Obviously, I know I technically had 8 incidents because I got 4 in practice. Again, the one in practice only counts for 50%. On top of that, obviously, I'm not totally sure, even though some people do say the safety rating count in practice and qualifying, I'm not 100% sure. I've never really been able to prove anything about it, but like, I have not really noticed that it counts. It's definitely overall the race, because obviously if you have a 12 incident point race, it doesn't matter how you did in qualifying, you're going to lose safety rating. And if you have a 0 incident race, I don't think I've ever had a 0 incident race and lost safety rating. I've never even had a 2 incident race and lost safety rating, so
there's a faster car behind.
So I think the race definitely counts more.
Blue flag.
Almost certainly the race counts more, because I've had loads in practice before. like when doing street stocks and things, where I've spun out in practice, and then I remember when I didn't think it mattered, and I sort of did donuts and things. So I remember in one street stock race, I had like 6 incident points in practice, and my safety rating still went up quite a bit. Oh dear, this guy is being aggressive. We're going to let him by.
Clear on the right.
Not taking any chances with this. We're just gonna. Oh, there you go. That guy there that just disconnected. I believe he was the one we were battling in the Mazda race that went up on my channel either a day ago or 2 days ago. I accidentally tapped him as we viewed the replay, but you know, I was worried actually if he lapped me, he might just see my name and go, "Oh, I remember you, punt."
Coming up on your.
That's what I thought was going to happen. But we're all right. Don't worry. Because he's disconnected now. I doubt he would have done that anyway. Revenge doesn't solve anything on iRacing. But yeah. And this is actually, it's Monday today as well, so tomorrow all the tracks will refresh, so this is my last chance here at Lime Rock. Next week, there is nothing at Lime Rock. I don't think there's actually anything at Lime Rock that I own now for the rest of the season. Which does disappoint me really, because I absolutely love Lime Rock Park. It's such an amazing circuit. You've got a perfect mix of like, you know, obviously the Grand Prix layout is probably my favourite.
Blue flag.
Because you've got all this slidey stuff, the straight, and then you've got a chicane as well. Although this is also quite fun. I've got a 9-second gap back to second now, so it's gone up a little bit in the last couple of laps. Whee! I did not see that guy there. You can see we're on lap 9 now, and we are starting to be lapped. However, saying that, it's now I would expect the lead VWs and the lead Mazdas to start appearing on our screen. However, at the moment, it's only the Mustangs that have caught us and got ahead. Now, if we can make it to lap 13 plus without being lapped by the VWs and Mazdas, that's good, because it means the lonely lappers want, in theory. Obviously, it does depend on how it went, but that's lap 13 is roughly the halfway point. And obviously, the less times we get lapped, the better, because it's just less opportunity for things to go wrong, basically. Particularly, some of the Mazdas can be very aggressive with getting past, because obviously in the corners and things,
the faster car approaching.
The Mazdas obviously are the closest thing to us.
15 minutes remaining.
We've got third place Mustang here, closing in on those. We've also got 2 more Mazdas there on the same lap as us, so they're not really part of the lead group, but we have got 2 more Mazdas closing us down. I'll just let this guy go. I'm going to be nice. And there you go, so you can see there's the lead VW, look, popped up on our screen, only 6 seconds away. So the lead VWs probably will lap us twice in this race, so it's now really that we have got to start watching for lap traffic, really. We've got probably, between now, we've probably got another 2 laps, and then that VW will catches up. From when that VW catches up, depending on the lead he has in VW class, we might end up being swarmed by all sorts of cars as soon as he comes by. So it's you know, once that first car that isn't a Mustang comes by, that's basically when the rest of the field hit us. So obviously until then, we want to maybe obviously try and do as many quick laps as we can to extend the gap over second place in Pontiacs. It is kind of how multi-class racing, it's why I like multi-class racing so much. Obviously, depending on what car class you're in, the tactics changed quite a lot. But particularly in this class, you just want to basically get as many clean, quick laps out the way before everybody catches up to you. Obviously for things like safety rating, for things like iRating, and also just generally so you can set some quick laps and not have every single lap you do ruined by some lap car. The start is basically, you know, that's the only time you're not going to be swarmed with lap cars. You know, it's only a minute lap time and there's 28 cars. So this track gets pretty full pretty quickly. Now I don't think the VW...
The car's behind.
No, the VW's not quicker to have a go. Wait!
Behind is now
massive dive bomb from him there. That was not really that good. I guess he was in a bit of a rush to get past me. Now I'm going to ask the Mazda to come round the left of me. This is one of the best places to let people by in this game. Okay, no, at this track, because, you know, I didn't really lose much time, and I let 3 guys through. It really works. Now, I don't think this Mazda's going to have the speed. Nope, it is, okay. So we're going to let it by.
There's a faster class car approaching.
And there you go, so we lost basically minimal time there. This is what we want to keep doing every time. And actually, once this next VW goes through, we've actually got a 7-second gap to the next guy.
That's half distance.
So that's nice. Now the lead Mazda is about 7 seconds away from us, so obviously that will be quite a big group when it gets to us. I was just blinking out there, so ignore that. But that's the thing, you know? And we've managed to get through that whole group. Gap is still 9 seconds to the second place Pontiac, so we've done our job. Now I focus again on doing quick laps. Obviously until the next group catches up, which are a group of 3 cars, 2 Mazdas and 1 VW. They're about 5 seconds away now. So we should get one more lap in before they get us. And obviously we are now at that important lap 13. This is basically the halfway point in the race, give or take. I mean, maybe it's just past halfway point for a Pontiac. I think typically they only do about 25 laps. Hey, a Mazda has lost it. Please don't rejoin the track, thank you. So there we go, we've gained a technical place on that Mazda. Obviously, it's not in our class. Actually, we should have a look at where we are. So obviously, we should be last. Not last, we should be behind all the other classes, so you can kind of see how many people have had issues. Obviously, there's 25 cars that aren't Pontiacs. No. Wait, I think some people disconnected. I don't think everybody started the race. There was 28 people, there's only 27 listed there. So I think there's 24 cars that aren't Pontiacs, so to be 20th means that basically nothing.
They're battling for position.
Actually, no, I'm not totally sure. Never mind, we'll leave that. We have other things to be focusing on, as the group behind us has now come up behind us. They're the next group. After them, there's not another group for another 5 seconds, so obviously if we could try and clear them, it would be nice. We're going to let the Mazda go here.
Right side's clear.
The VW will probably also go through as well. There we go, nice. And the other Mazda, so there you go, that is perfect. All 3 of them went out the way without me really doing anything, so that didn't really cost, it cost me very little time because I went wide in that corner to let them by, and that's about it. So now again we've got another 5.5 seconds then to the next group, so we can just, again, try to set some quick laps. If we can, obviously, as well, people will start to close us a bit slower.
Well done, Morgan.
As we go
really
on.
Good. Come on, keep your
because
focus.
those are the really quick guys.
That's 10 minutes left. Your lap time was at 104.1.
So we're not going, obviously we're not setting blistering laps, obviously, because of the lap cars. However, we have got still about 9 seconds to second place in class. So obviously, that's what we're going to think about here. It's basically just not are we going quickly, but are we doing enough to maintain this first place? And obviously that will be some decent I-rating gain for us if we can keep that up. Obviously it is technically, I think, probably the first Pontiac win I'll have that's technically valid. Because I've won every single Pontiac race I've done. However, some of them obviously I was the only person in Pontiac class, so kind of got that for free. One of them, second place, crashed out. So really, the last race I did there was 3 cars in Pontiac. This one there's 4 cars. So it's a fair amount of people that are in Pontiac class. I mean, it's only 4, but that's 3 opponents I've got to go against and beat. You know, that means that not everybody will get on the podium. So it's kind of reasonable. And you can see that we had a pretty clean lap then. Doing a 1 minute 3, so we can, I know I can go a bit quicker than a 103. But again, as long as, and you can see there actually, he's 11 seconds back now. The Pontiac now behind us because of some lap traffic. Obviously there's a lot of lap traffic descending on us now, so this is going to be maybe a bit tight. We want to try and
is now 11 seconds.
Get these guys by quite safely. Let someone by here, because you can go wide here. And that basically, there you go, I barely lost any time. And that basically, you know, means that they can just easily get past, which is great. We've got a Mustang coming now. That's going to just
on your right side.
Just
blue flag.
Waltz its way past us easily. And then we've got another 2 seconds back, so that's good. So you can see that, there you go, that's those 2 gone nice and safely. Shows how quick the Mustangs are. Whoa, that VW getting out of the way was a bit sudden. But obviously the VW is so much quicker than us though, that even the VW making a bit of a mistake there and maybe diving out a bit too much doesn't affect us, which is nice. It's kind of what is quite nice. Right, okay, we've got a big group coming up on us here. So I'm going to tell them to go left, and I'm going to go wide here. This is my favourite place really to let people by, because it doesn't really lose you any time.
He's on the left side. Clear on the left.
There you go, going to let all three of them by. Probably lost a little bit of speed doing that.
Right side.
But obviously I don't really mind if we lose a little bit of speed, if it means that obviously they all get by safely. Because that does obviously, you know, minimise crash. We've actually got 10 seconds now in the lead of Pontiac class, so we have actually gained a little bit. I don't know what this Mazda's being way aggressive. Don't know what he's doing, to be honest. Please say he's not trying to this corner. Looks like he is. Okay, we'll let him do that. Really, you should wait to the straight by that point, especially considering how twitchy those Mazdas are. Obviously, I should know because I have driven them quite a bit. This is going to end in a crash ahead of us, and this is, or maybe anyway, and this is kind of the bonus of these Pontiacs. They're actually so slow in a straight line that if there's a big battle going on, normally it's gone by the time you reach the end of the straight. It's far enough away from you that you're not slowed down by it. You're not in massive danger of crashing directly. You know, if they span out now, I could avoid them, but if they span out when they were right in front of me, I couldn't avoid them. So it's kind of, you know, it's quite good that. Right, we've got another Mazda coming up on us now, so we'll try and let it pass. But yeah, this is why I love multi-class racing. Obviously, this series is fun, whether you're in the Mazda or whether you're in the Pontiac. The VW I don't really want to race, because in my opinion at least, the VW cockpit just looks a bit low quality, I guess. It doesn't look great. I don't know whether that's just how the VW maybe looks in real life, but I'm not a fan. The textures look a little bit old. It's not marked as legacy content, but I don't fancy it. So yeah, we've got a 9.5 second gap. So you can see, doing a pretty perfect job of making sure, obviously, we let people by safely, but also making sure that we don't just do 2-minute lap times every time round. You know, I'm exaggerating a little bit, but we're basically making sure we get the perfect balance between speed and safety, letting people by. Also, just not holding people up. I mean, these Pontiacs are very slow in a straight line. They're so slow at accelerating. I said, I mean, really, it really shows, because the Mazdas are the next class up from us, and they're about 5 seconds a lap quicker, and about 4 seconds a lap cover Mazda to Mustang. I think, you know, the top Mustang to top Mazda is normally about 3 seconds. Top Mazda to top Pontiac is about 5 seconds. So we are considerably slower than everybody else.
Come on, Morgan. Just 5 minutes left. Hold
right,
your nerve.
This Mustang should get out our way here. There we go. That's the pace of the Mustang. Just in that short little straight. Not even a straight, it's just a little crest. It can already pass. Whoa, something's happened to second place Pontiac, because they're 22 seconds away now. So that's nice. Obviously, even if we don't get the safety rating we want out of this, I'm going to gain probably a ton of I rating as long as I don't bin it into a wall. And we only have about 4.5 minutes left now, so that's really good. Obviously, 4 incident points, that's a bit of a downside. However, we should still gain a little bit. It won't be a lot, but it'll be a little bit. We should gain. Also, I don't really care. As long as we gain a small amount, I don't mind. Even if we lose like 0.01, it doesn't really matter. Actually, third place Pontiac is now in second place. They're 23 seconds back, so I don't know what's happened there. They must have had a pretty major issue. The Pontiac that was 10 seconds behind us. They must have span out or had a conflict with a lap car maybe, because there are 2 Mazdas that were probably about 10 seconds away from us a lap ago when it happened, so that could be the case. But either way, we have basically been gifted first place. Well, we were already in first place, but we've been gifted a pretty large margin now, which is really good. Obviously, it's what I want to see, really. It's what I've got. I mean, weirdly, a lot of the drivers who do the Pontiacs tend to be quite low I rating, like maybe 1500, 1600. So me, with my 2500 I rating, generally I can beat them. Obviously, it does lead to me having a bit of an inflated I rating, so that's a bit of a downside. That's kind of the thing I do think about with I racing. It's kind of, if I win, I'm going to basically guaranteed gain I rating, even if I'm racing people that are rubbish. So obviously, you can get a very if you race people that are better than you all of the time, your I rating is going to be lower than it should be. And if you race people that are worse than you all of the time, then obviously your I rating will be a bit better than it should be. Obviously, that's just kind of how it works. I personally think that I rating should go off more things. I think they should go off your fastest lap and things like that. Maybe try and calculate it from that and compare it against everybody in all the splits, maybe to try and work out a better rating for you, not just based on everything else. But anyway, right, down to third gear, into here. Had a pretty good race actually. We set at 102.8. We've had a couple of laps here without any kind of trouble, so that's really nice. Obviously, hopefully we can keep that up. We'll aim to keep it up if we can. Nice, safe laps. Obviously, we've got 2 seconds behind us now at Mazda. Now, I'm going to be very slow about letting people by. I'm going to be very calm, very nice, because obviously, before we only had a 10-second gap. Now we have a 20+ second gap, I think.
2 minutes to go.
In fact, yeah, 24 seconds is our gap now, so we've got a nice bit of room to go slowly. That's almost half a lap, 24 seconds. There we go. This Mazda's being very nice, very calm, and is waiting until the straight, which is a sensible thing to do, really. It's much less likely to cause a crash, and also the Mazda doesn't get, obviously the Mazda didn't have to go offline to get past me either, and I didn't have to go offline, so it kind of makes our race better for all of us. And that's how I'd like everybody to get past me, however, that doesn't happen. Not everybody is sensible, sadly. But, you know, that's what you get with multiplayer racing. It's part of the fun, I guess, isn't it? But we're going really good here. In first place, obviously we've got 2.5 seconds. The Mazda behind us doesn't really seem to be getting much time on us, so maybe it has a bit of damage or something that's limiting it in a straight line. Because those two Mazdas were right next to each other at one point. Obviously they're not now. We've also got a, yeah, because they are 6 and 7, so they were right next to each other. And we have got a lap Mustang that's coming for us, and a lap VW as well, both of them leading their respective classes. So we only have 30 seconds left actually, so then they're probably going to come across the line this time to go white flag. So if they lap me, I'll do one, this will be my last lap. If they don't lap me, the next one will be the last lap. It will be quite tight because the Mustang, yes, it's 6 seconds away, however they are about well, probably about 8 seconds a lap quicker than us. So depending on how the lap goes, or at least in qualifying that's true, I don't think it's maybe true during the race, to be honest. They never seem to gain that much. Because obviously the Mustang, I don't actually know how good the Mustang is through the corners. Obviously I wouldn't know. I'm really hoping this guy isn't aggressive, but we'll see. Okay, he's not looking for away passes, I don't think. He's being quite sensible, that's what I like to see.
There's a faster car bearing down on you.
That's what I like. Okay, so he's 2 seconds behind the Mustang, so this is going to be tight. I don't think, though, that the Mustang... This happened to me in the last Pontiac race as well. I don't think we are going to... I think... Nope, this is not going to be our last lap. This will be our last lap, the one we're going on to now, because...
One more lap.
There we go, that Mustang has just finished its race. So there we go, that Mustang has just finished its race. We've now got pretty nice bit of time to ourselves. Just a nice calm lap. Obviously the other Pontiac will have spun it on the last lap. Luckily I have the time to be very slow. Obviously I was the last person across the line before the Mustang, so nobody can get me now. Everybody else has got the checkered flag. I will be the last person to take the checkered flag. I might actually miss the checkered flag. I might be, no, I'm not going to be too late for it. The session ends in 45 seconds, so I think I'll be okay. So overall...
You have 4 incidents.
Yeah, 4 incidents, not bad. I'm pretty happy with that. Again, 0 would have been nice, but I think we're still going to gain some safety rating despite what happened in practice. Obviously, we've got the full 25 laps done as well, so obviously more laps equals more safety rating. They just took themselves out on the line for fun, I guess. I don't really know.
Yellow flag, caution.
Bit ridiculous. And
nice one, Morgan.
There we go.
You deserved that today.
And there we go. Perfect. That is us finished, and we won Pontiac class, which is obviously what I want to see. So let's head back into the menu then. We'll see what we got for our racing skill. Hopefully, again, just hopefully we don't lose earlier. I had 1 incident. Actually, it doesn't count practice then because I had 2 incidents. No. Yeah, I had a 0. Okay, it does count practice. Yeah, I'm being silly. So we had 1 incident in practice, and I gained 0.13. Obviously, I had 4 incidents in the race and 4 in practice. Practice doesn't count as much, so we should still gain safety rating. What? We lost safety rating? Are you kidding me? That's because of that incident in practice, I'm telling you. If we hadn't had that little bump in practice coming out of the pits, we wouldn't gain safety rating. That's really annoying. Obviously, as I said, it's only 0.01, so it's basically stayed the same. And we gained 42 I rating for our troubles, though, so that's quite nice. That's worth it. I'll take 42 I rating anytime. So there we go. I hope everybody enjoyed this video. I hope to see you in the next one. Obviously, yeah, my pursuit for safety rating is not going great, but there you go. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one, and bye-bye!